should you go for nitro or electric powered RC cars when you buy your very first or maybe second RC car? The question that probably most of you think to yourselves, should I go for a nitro one or should I just go down the easy route and buy electric? Well, let's have a look and see if we can work it out together, and maybe I can push you towards the better route. Or is it? We'll work that out together, because it's definitely a divided opinion. A lot of people go down the electric route to start with because they think it's just easier to plug in a battery and away you go. But we'll go through all the things that you need to do with an electric car, and also all the things that you need to do with a nitro powered RC car, and then you can decide for yourselves which one you prefer. In my opinion, one isn't easier than the other. They've both got their pros and cons. They've both got their easy parts, they've both got their difficult parts. We can go through them and work it out together. So let's start with electric. What do you need to do with electric? So for electric cars, obviously you need some kind of electric, so you need batteries. Now most people will go down the route, because it's just the way it is these days, they'll go down the LiPo route. So for LiPo batteries, they can be quite dangerous depending on how they are. It's a good idea to keep them in, well, don't keep them in your house, that's for sure. Keep them somewhere where if they do explode randomly in the middle of the night, hopefully they won't cause a fire. I keep mine in these ammo boxes. This is just one of them, and sometimes difficult to open with one hand. Bear with me a minute. That's better. Right. And then we keep them in these LiPo bags. And the idea is, if one of them randomly spontaneously combusts, it should be kept under bay. Now, just as an example, here's a 3S LiPo. Now, you have to charge these up, obviously, before you use them. But the thing is with LiPos is, you need to keep them on a storage charge if you're not using them. You can fully charge them, and realistic, I know there's people out there, and I used to be in the camp of, I never done the storage charge thing for years, never bothered, just charged them up, left them flat, left them charged, left them wherever they were. But now batteries are getting crazily expensive. Back years ago when I started with these LiPos, well, I say when I started off with RC cars more than 20 years ago, and I did have electric ones, but they just ran on your ordinary, well, they were NiCad back then, nickel, whatever it is, and then the nickel metal hydrate, so you could just put them wherever you wanted. NiCad had a memory, so you'd run them right down and then you'd charge them right up, and then you'd run them right down and then you'd charge them right up, because legend has it that if you charged them from midpoint, for example, it would remember that, and then midpoint would be flat, and they were a nightmare. Well, they weren't really a nightmare, but they were a bit difficult to work with. Nickel metal hydrate, you can charge them up from any point you want. But when I started to go to LiPos, I never bothered. I just, storage charge? Nah. Because if the battery degraded in any way, I'd just go and buy another one. They were cheap. They were like £10 for a battery. It was nothing. Nowadays, you're looking at 50, 60, 70, £100. The batteries go into hundreds of pounds now. Even some of the cheapest ones, which I don't recommend that you buy, but even some of the cheapest ones, you're still looking at sort of 20, 30 quid. It's a lot of money to not look after. So for a LiPo battery, you need to put it into a storage charge, which is 50%, 40 to 50% roughly of its charge capacity, if you're going to leave it for any more than 2 or 3 days, because otherwise the battery will degrade. It's a debatable topic, and you're more than welcome to put in the comments any information if you wish, but that's a fact. That's a bit of a nuisance. One of the things is as well, you have to charge them up before you obviously go out for a bit of a run. Now, you might decide, well, it's 11 o'clock, I've got to go out at 1 o'clock. Let's go and have a go of me RC car. Oh, wait a minute, my batteries are on a storage charge, or perhaps they're just flat from the other day. Alright, I'll put them on charge. Okay. Gonna take an hour to charge now. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Oh no, I'm going to run out of time. By the time I get out there, I'm only going to have half an hour to play. That's no good. I've got to be somewhere. Bit of a nuisance. You can't really go out spontaneously with electric RC cars unless you've planned it and you've charged the batteries up ahead of time. But then that's not spontaneously, is it? When people say they're just plug and play, they're not really plug and play. Does it sound like I'm putting down electric RC cars? Nah. Nitro have got their problems as well. We'll go over them in a minute. But yeah, you can run them on LiPo, which takes time, and you know, as I say, the storage charge. You can run them on nickel metal hydrate, a bit more flexible with the charging and discharging. You can just sort of leave them, do whatever you want with them, but they don't have as much power. People go with LiPos because they've got the punch with them, because of the way the batteries are, well, just the way they are, the material they're made from, lithium polymer. There's a bit more punch, a lot more power, energy held in them. Nickel metal hydrate seem to be a bit more relaxed, a bit more calm. But you can run any RC car, including this one, any of them, X-Maxes, the lot. You can run them on nickel metal hydrate. They just won't have the power that they would have if they were on a LiPo. And obviously people go for electric RC cars because they want that power straight away, which apparently Nitro doesn't have. Let's have a look at Nitro. Alright, Nitro, in my opinion, the more exciting way to go. Now I will point out that Nitro is better suited to people which have an interest in mechanics, engineering, and you know, just engines really, because electric, although there are diffs and electric motors, there's not really a lot to them. They're very simple, you know what I mean? There's not a lot to them. Whereas Nitro, we'll take the shell off this one in a second. Nitro's got a lot more to it. It's got a real working engine with pistons, liners, you know, cranks, bearings, you know, oil. It's got real things, and it's got clutch, it's got flywheel, there's everything. It's like a real car, but smaller. They're two-stroke as well. You can get four-stroke ones, but that's a niche. But mainly are two-stroke. You know, everything is like a real thing. So if you've got an interest in that, you will be more suited to Nitro. And that's why a lot of people get the they get fed up, because they've not really got an interest in engineering and mechanics. They just see this cool buggy zipping around in a field somewhere, and they decide to themselves, I want one of them. That's cool. Look at the smoke. Look at this, the sound. Oh, it sounds really good. I want to get one. But because they've got no interest in engines, they quickly lose interest in the car. That's what I tend to find. I often get people, it's becoming a full-time job now. I don't get paid for it, but you know what I mean. Every second of every day, I've got emails and personal messages on Instagram asking me questions. Oh, I've seen this buggy. It looks so cool. I've got one now. I can't get it to run. I can't get it to work. What do I do? And there's no interest in the engine. They just literally they want it to work. But that's not how it is. The hobby, well, the RC hobby in general is tinkering. Nothing just works. Everything breaks. Everything. You can't get something that doesn't break. You can get cars that are strong and break less often, depending on how you use them. But everything breaks. That's just life. And there's nothing in life, in the world, that doesn't break at some point. And RC cars are definitely not one of those. They break all the time. But if you look after them, they will break less often, but you still get the freak little breakages where things just break randomly and you think, oh, how the hell did that happen? But that's just how it is. So we've got a real engine with a bit of grass on the top of it. We've got a real engine, a real air filter, we've got a real exhaust, we've got a real fuel tank which nitromethane goes in. We still have batteries. We need a battery to power the receiver, which receives the signal from your transmitter, which I haven't got one to display, but you know what they look like. You've got a servo to do the steering, the same as you have on an electric car. You've got a servo there, what does your steering. But in an electric car, you haven't got that. You've got what you call an ESC, which is like a little computer thing which then just sends some power to the electric motor to go forward or back and how much you want. Whereas on a Nitro car, if I just turn this around for you, you've got a throttle. You've got another servo which then does a throttle. There's the throttle that opens and closes, and that lets more air and more fuel into your engine, and that's all powered by the receiver and a little battery. On this car it's got AA batteries, which really you shouldn't run, but that's for another day. So these can be a lot more spontaneous because, well, you can run the receivers on lipos. I don't recommend that. You probably will go for that because you'll hear people say, run your receiver, run your servos on a lipo because the servos will be quicker and it'll just be better. But then you're bringing in more problems. Racers use lipos for speed because they're racing, but then they have setup times, you know what I mean? They do all the battery, everything's planned. If you're racing, you're obviously planning to go to a race, so you pre-charge your lipo battery from its storage charge that you've had it on. You know, at the end of the race, you probably discharge your battery back to a storage charge. Everything is planned when you're racing. So we're not really talking about racing. We're talking about everyday people, such as you and me, just want an RC car, just for fun. Don't go for lipos in your receivers. I've got lipos in my race buggies. You know, you have to do a lot more planning and use for those. They're not a spontaneous thing to be using. Whereas Nitro for every day can be completely spontaneous. I very often literally decide, split seconds, sitting indoors, I'm going to go out for a bit of a run with the Nitro car. I pick it up, I go down the field, have a blast. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do, obviously, have to make sure that these are charged. I don't run AAs in my normal ones. This is a buggy that I've bought to sell, so it's not set up for me personally. I run rechargeable hump packs, so you just charge them up, nickel metal hydrate. You can get lithium ion and Li-Fi ones. They're good as well. You don't have to storage charge those, so you can run receivers on lithium ion ones and Li-Fi. I just like hump packs, nickel metal hydrate. That's what I buy, that's what I use. So as long as these are charged and the batteries in your transmitter are charged, this is the transmitter for this buggy, you're okay. One more thing, this has to be charged up for Nitro. This is the glow starter. So inside that engine you've got a glow plug. It's a little plug like that, and that just for when starting up the engine, it glows like on a diesel engine, just to heat up the combustion chamber and gives it that initial bit of fire. And then once that's happened, it takes over with the catalytic conversion or whatever it's blooming well called, and stays running. If this is flat, it won't start. So there are some things that you have to make sure that are charged, but these are nickel metal hydrate. You can get lipo ones. I ain't bothering with those because they're lipo and I just hassle. Nickel metal hydrate, charge this up, takes about 8 hours if you use the standard charger. It'll last weeks and weeks. These are great. Okay, you can get different types. You can get ones with wires that come out and attach to batteries and this and that. Very simple, these ones. Different types of batteries. This one's a 2100 milliamp hour. It's simple. So that needs to be charged. Batteries in the transmitter, which lasts months. And this, if you put a hump pack in there, even with the AA batteries, in fact, it'll last weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And once they go flat, modern day receivers, they'll tell you the batteries are flat, so you don't have to worry. So that's it. Literally, pick it up, put fuel in it, go. You don't have to think about any charging apart from what I've just explained. But the beauty is, because all three of those things, what you need to make sure are charged in order to run a Nitro car, they last weeks. You can charge them up, and once they're charged until they run out in about 3 weeks' time. You don't have to pre-charge, storage charge, do nothing. That's it. That's it. Pick it up, put fuel in it, start it up, blast around. Put it away, forget about it. No storage charge, no nothing. It's great. I can hear you. Orinoco, but you need loads of tools to run a nitro car. No, you don't. No, you bloody well don't. Right, in order to run a nitro car, you need a simple screwdriver with a flathead. Some engines, some carburetors I should say, don't have a flathead screw for the high and low needle. They have an Allen screw with an Allen head. That's mainly just Nova engines. I can't remember off the top of my head any other carburetor that has Allen bolts. Novas do. Most other ones have a flathead screw, so you've got a low end needle, your high end needle. Some have a mid range, this one hasn't, and a tick over screw. That's it. Now, you got your screwdriver. You need a spanner to take your glow plug in and out, because you may need to at some points. That's it. No more tools are needed. There are other tools that you could do with, and you will need at some point if you break something or you need to tighten something, like a Phillips screwdriver to do screws up and things like that. But just for generally running, you haven't got to carry around a whole pit crew. Literally a screwdriver and a spanner. Equally for electric, you do need a certain amount of tools, because there are screws, bolts, nuts. So you do need a little toolkit for electric as well. So either one, you're going to need a certain amount of tools to run. So when it comes to tools and how much you need to buy, how much you need to carry, you do need a certain amount of tools for both. But obviously there's no tuning as such for electric. Modern day ESCs, you can tune with a computer, where you can do all the rates and speeds and throttle curves and that. I mean, I've been through all of that, all the castle tuning and all the other stuff over the years. It's basically just like mapping a real car, you know, with the ESC, ECU and all that kind of stuff. Just map the curves and stuff. Don't need a screwdriver for that, but you do need a laptop or a computer. Are you going to be carrying a laptop or a computer around the field with you? Probably not. And if you haven't got a laptop or a computer, you've got to go and buy one, which can be thousands. No laptop or computer needed for a nitro engine, that's for sure. A simple screwdriver will do all the tuning you ever need to do. Fuel. Now, that's a topic I often hear people talk about, is the fuel. Yeah, but you can't get the fuel these days. You can't buy nitro fuel anymore. They're not selling it, so you can't run your cars. Well, that, at the moment, isn't true. You can buy nitro fuel in loads and loads of places, at least in England or Great Britain, which is where I am. You can get it all over the place. I mean, yeah, the prices have definitely gone up. I mean, this 5 litres was $46.99 in my relatively local RC shop. I'm willing to pay that kind of price because it's my local shop, and, you know, I like to support them as much as I possibly can. I could have got that slightly cheaper if I'd have gone on the internet and had it delivered to me, but I'd much rather go into the physical shop. I have to pay a little bit more, unfortunately, but at least I'm supporting an actual shop which is local to me, physical. But anyway, you can buy OptiFuel, you can get Shoot, Model Technics, Works Fuel. There's loads of different types of nitro fuel that you can buy. The percentages at the moment in England, you can still get 25%, which is what this is. You can buy 30%, which I've got some down in the bottom underneath there. That's about it really. You can get 16. You can get all the different percentages still. Excuse me, frog in my throat. There's no shortage of nitro fuel around here. There are some shops that won't post it because they say that it's not able to be posted, but it is. You just need to look down the right avenues. But there's Wheel Spin Models, they post nitro fuel. Model Sport post nitro fuel. There's loads of shops that do post nitro fuel. It will be delivered to you. That's it, and it doesn't cost a fortune for delivery. Most places have free delivery on nitro fuel. Not all, but quite a lot of them do. There's some shops in Northern Ireland that sell nitro fuel that do post it. I know you can get it. Someone says to me, I can't get nitro fuel. You are talking bollocks, because you can. You haven't looked enough. Of course, if you've got a shop which is local to you, just go down there and buy it, because supporting a local shop physically there's no substitute for that. So the other thing, some people say that nitro is messy and dirty and smelly. Electric is clean. Well, that's true, I suppose. I mean, there is no, for electric, apart from the oil and the grease in the diffs, and the oil that you'll have to put on certain parts just to keep things lubricated, relatively clean. There's no smell, which is, in my opinion, bad. But there is no smell, there's no noise, apart from now and again. That's about it. Nitro, there is a smell. The nitro fuel has a distinct smell, which in my opinion is a nice smell. The smoke that comes out the exhaust, again, a very nice smell. It makes me feel homely, it makes me feel calm. But some people don't like that, but everything has a smell. There is a little bit more oil and grease around. This particular one's quite greasy and oily because when it was posted to me, I've recently bought this one, by the way, got it running. There's videos on it. I put links to the videos of me getting this one running and driving it, which it ran fantastically. One of the best buggies I think I've bought in a while. When it was posted, it had a full tank of nitro, which then went everywhere inside the box. Bit of a problem. But yeah, if you don't spill any, there's no more oil goes everywhere. Nitro can be clean if you keep them clean. I don't keep them clean. I like the oil and grease everywhere. That's just the way I like things. But I've said it and I'll say it again. Nitro really is for someone who, if you've got an interest, you might not have previous past in mechanics and engineering and engines, but if you've got an interest in them, you're more likely to succeed with nitro because your heart will be in learning about them. If you literally just want a radio controlled car that goes around the field for 10 minutes and then you want to put it away again, electric is going to probably be the one for you, because you're not going to, you're going to have to mess around with storage charging and batteries and stuff, and batteries cost hundreds of pounds. I mean, you think that nitro, $46.99, right? This is essentially your battery, $46.99. That, depending on how often you use, but that will last probably 2-3 weeks if you use this every day. If you don't use it every day, it'll last you years. I mean, I've got a bottle under there that it's 30%. I don't use it that often. I think I've had it about 4 years. I use a bit now and again. And the topic of nitro fuel going bad, I'm not even going to bother entertaining, because it doesn't go bad. Well, it does go bad, but not to the point where you can't use it. I mean, I've got bottles that are not sealed, and they're years and years old. As long as no dirt or water actively gets put in there, I've just got a cloth over the lid. It's not actually sealed, air can go in. It's perfectly fine. You wouldn't want to use it for racing because you'd want it to be optimal, but for everyday use, it's fine. And I have proved it in videos. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. So this is your battery, yeah? $46.99. You get weeks and weeks of use. If you could spend £100 and something on a LiPo battery, and you have to recharge it, storage charge it, do everything. It will last you probably months, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on how you treat it. But you have to keep messing around charging it and doing all storage charges. With nitro fuel, you don't have to do a single thing. Just put it in your car and put it underneath. By putting it underneath, I mean put it away. Anyway, battery in a bottle. What else is there I can talk about with nitro and electric RC cars? One thing as well, which when someone asks me about any RC car and I tell them, okay, go for electric, blah blah blah, you haven't just got to buy the car and one or at least one battery. In order to charge your battery, you've got to buy a dedicated LiPo charger. I've done reviews on loads and loads of LiPo chargers over the years. GT Power sponsor this channel. They're a LiPo. They make loads of LiPo chargers. So now you've got to spend hundreds of pounds on a charger. So you spend hundreds of pounds on your car, you spend hundreds of pounds, or maybe less pounds, on your battery. One battery, if you want two, you've got to spend double the amount, triple the amount, quadruple the amount. Then you've also got to buy a charger, another hundreds of pounds. Now, you're probably going to say, well, for Nitro you've got to buy a blooming charger. Not necessarily, because you don't need to. It's an optional extra. AA batteries, which you can buy rechargeable AA batteries, but normal AA batteries run the transmitter. You can, as we've seen, run the receiver on normal AA batteries. You can, I haven't got one to demonstrate, and I don't know where my glow starters have gone now. What have I done with the blooming glow starter? Anyway, let's use this one as an example. Glow starter, when you buy them, they come with a little wall charger, like this one. So when you buy them, they come with a charger. You haven't got to buy another charger. That is that. Or you can buy these ones where you put AA batteries in. So you haven't got to spend hundreds of pounds on a LiPo charger. You can run them all on AA batteries if you want, or these come with a charger anyway. The optional extra is running this on a hump pack. Again, you can buy little wall chargers like this that charge the hump packs. Most people do use these chargers to charge hump packs, including me, but you don't have to. You can buy nickel metal hydrate hump packs that come with wall chargers like this, so you haven't got to spend hundreds of pounds on chargers. These are a very cheap option if you make them cheap. A lot of the expensive stuff and all the optional extras, that's what makes the prices go up. So with electric, you need chargers to charge the batteries. You can buy wall chargers to charge nickel metal hydrate batteries. Probably can buy them for LiPos, but a dedicated charger like that, it's a good investment, but it's something that you're going to have to think about, because you've got to charge them batteries somehow. And the wall chargers take hours and hours and hours and hours and hours to charge those big batteries. Those dedicated chargers charge them in an hour or so. Electric and Nitro both got their good pros and cons, that's for sure. So there are more things that I could talk about, and if it's something that you would want to hear or you would want to watch, put it in the comments, and I can do and I will do a more in-depth, longer video all about Nitro, what you need to do, what you do, all the little things needed to run a Nitro car, and all the things needed to run electric cars. Look at the mess we've got on the bench now, and this is what you lot do to me. You make me make a mess like this. Anyway, but I've just gone through the basics to try and help you decide whether you want to go, whether you should go down the electric or the Nitro. Or of course, you can always just have both. But then if your budget allows you to have both, well, you can just buy something really good in either field. Go for Nitro. No, don't let me sway your thoughts. Or maybe you should. That's the point of this video. I'm supposed to be swaying your thoughts. Go for Nitro. Nitro's the best. Anyway, I'll make any video that I think is necessary or plausible to make regarding both. But leave in the comments. I want to know all of your experiences with electric and Nitro. I want to know your opinions. Some of you lot are very strongly against Nitro, but I think that's just because you don't understand them. You probably had an experience with Nitro at some point, couldn't get it running properly, couldn't get the servos set up. They're very simple and easy to do. I've got videos on setting up throttles, brakes, steering, carburetor adjustments. I may do more updated videos on those in the future, but those are the things that tend to turn people off. It was one of the reasons why I ended up getting this buggy, because the previous owner, I don't think he could get it running properly. He couldn't set the servos up, so he got fed up with it. Once you know how, or work out how to do them, they're very, very simple to do. Throttle, brakes on one servo. It's just setting them up, and also the carburetor is a balancing act. But I want to know all your experiences, all your thoughts, opinions on nitro and electric. And that's it. What should you buy? Make your decision. But I want to know, what did you buy? If you watched this video and you was thinking about getting an RC car but you couldn't decide between nitro and electric, let me know what you did buy. The next video on this topic will be 3 options: electric, nitro, or petrol. Yes, 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 there are petrol RC cars as well as nitro and electric. The next video will be, should you buy a petrol one, and the pros and cons of petrol. That's another world which we all love. I'll catch you later on. Thanks for watching. Take care. Let me know what you bought or what you have got. I'd love to know.